We're just ordinary people living ordinary lives until we see someone on TV win a $25,000 prize. Come on down. I'll play any game for 10 seconds of fame. Come on down. I'll make a deal, just let me spin the wheel. Come on down. To win $1 million, all you need is a little luck and thorough knowledge of multiple disparate trivial subjects.
All right, welcome to an... I can't even look at you seriously right now. Welcome to an all-new episode of Come On Down, the game show podcast, hosted by me, John Baker.
And me, Vacation Motney.
Oh, is that why you have the sunglasses on and your shirt uncomfortably amount of unbuttoned?
Just gonna lean back here. I'm on vacation time right now.
What does that mean?
I'm about to go on vacation, and my brain has already switched over to vacation time.
When and where you going?
By the time you're listening to this, the next morning I will have gotten up and gone on a plane with my mask on to Mexico, Cancun. Heard of it?
Yeah, I have.
Oh, you have?
Yes.
Huh. When I booked through the travel agent, I was told this is a very unique destination people have not heard of.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, I know a lot of the unique... I watch a lot of HGTV, so
right.
I see some of those
Home and Gnome television.
Home and Gnome television, yeah. Today on the show, on the vacation show, it's, as we've been celebrating all month, it is our last episode of Pride Month. What are you doing over there?
My foot was in an uncomfortable position, and since I'm in vacation mode, I cannot be uncomfortable.
So for our last episode of Pride Month, I wanted to give a quick shout out. The news came out last week that Carl Nassib, defensive end for the Oakland Raiders of the NFL, he came out as gay last week. And I don't know if you watch Hard Knocks, but a couple years ago he was on the Browns. He was kind of a star on Hard Knocks. He was teaching his teammates how compound interest works.
Yeah, I do remember that scene.
Yeah.
I did not know that was him.
Yeah, so he's got a little bit of fame outside of just his football playing, because I don't think he ended up making the Browns team that year. But he was on the Raiders last year, and he did play pretty well throughout the year. So he will...
Why does that surprise you?
It doesn't.
You don't think gay people play a sport well?
I didn't say it surprised me.
I mean, your eyebrows were directly straight up into the sky as you said that.
That's a talent that I have with my eyebrows. So he will presumably become like the first modern day out homosexual person to play in an NFL game. And that's cool. But the reason that I bring this up is because of something even cooler.
Ooh.
Which I think is the way that he announced that he was gay.
Was it like how people announce gender reveals?
Yeah, exactly.
Did he have a giant dick-sized, dick-shaped cannon that shot out rainbow flags?
Yeah. I don't know. That sounds offensive. But what he did do...
That's how I would announce it.
Of course it is. And I would support you.
Thank you.
But he made an Instagram video, posted on his Instagram.
I'm familiar.
Just kind of like a selfie thing, holding his phone up to his face there. Your computer charged as you're unplugging it from the wall.
Okay,
there.
So when I do this quietly, so only half of our audience is affected by
watching.
it. And when you do it verbally.
I just want to make sure that the people just listening don't miss out on any of the fun that the viewers
Thank you so
at home
much.
are getting.
That's very nice of you.
So Carl Nassib made an Instagram video. He's holding the camera, talking to the camera, in which he said, "Hey guys, I just want to take a quick moment to say that I'm gay." And I thought that was the coolest way that anybody's ever probably come out of the
nonchalant.
It was very nonchalant.
Although it was posted in a video.
Well, yeah. But the fact that it was just want to take a quick moment to say that I'm gay.
Was that the whole thing?
Yeah, that was it. That was the whole.
Was it really?
No,
That should have been it. It should have been a hard cut.
He talked for another minute about how he felt like it was the right time to announce that, and he's donating $100,000 to the Trevor Project, which is a nonprofit supporting.
Why would you give your money to a place that can't even make money?
Well, no, they're not trying to make a profit.
Right, so you're just basically throwing it into a black hole.
Well, no,
Nothing.
it's like a charity.
And so this charity makes money so that it can do more good in the community?
Right. Yes.
Okay.
It just reinvests
So it makes
that
profit off of people giving their money to them.
No. it doesn't
However,
make
they don't
profit.
have to return anything.
The only profit that they make is feeling good,
Okay.
like helping the community.
Right. I don't understand that business plan, but sure.
Sure. It's something we've got to work on a little bit, making charities more profitable.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah. So I thought that was pretty baller. Mm-hmm. Pretty funny. Anyway, today we got to focus today. Now that we've got that out of the way,
We have to focus. I am not in focus at all. I can barely concentrate because my mind is in Mexico right now.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that sounds like we're gonna have a great show. A lot of knowledge for the people.
Cucaracha, baby.
At home.
Cucaracha.
Which means cockroach. Which there was a huge one in my house today.
Disgusting.
And I had to kill because my wife.
You had to kill it.
Right, because my wife said, "Kill it."
You're up at the pearly gates, and God says, "We're going to go over every single transgression you had on earth, which includes killing things." And He comes up to the cockroach kill of June 26th,
Yeah.
2021, and you say, "Had to." That's
Right.
your
Yeah.
Sorry, had to.
Yes. Well, because listen, I would say, listen, God, if this is a deal breaker, if this is what sends me down to hell,
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather deal with that than deal with my wife's shit from not killing this cockroach that she wanted me to kill.
And then He high fives you, and He's
Exactly.
like, "Women, dude, right?
Bro, I guess
Can't live with them, can't live without
Bro.
them, dude."
So yeah, today we're going to be talking about a game show called Concentration, which is why I was making those focus jokes
Got it.
earlier. But before we hop in, it looks like we've got a sponsor that, upon a quick view here, looks like it ties in somewhat to, ironically,
Are you
what
sure?
we're talking about today.
I don't think so.
It's like rain on your wedding day. Today's sponsor is the new fun memorization game Simon Says from the Hasbro company, but with a cool new twist.
The new Simon Says Deluxe has the familiar 4 tones that must be mimicked after they're played, but now you must complete 1 round of truth or dare after each turn.
The new Tier D section has fun dares after the memorization tones, such as beep boop boop beep boop. Simon dares you to run around like a chicken.
Or boop beep boop boop beep. Simon dares you to lick a frozen pole.
Or boop beep boop beep beep beep. Simon dares you to steal your mom's purse.
Beep boop boop. Simon dares you to take me and a plugged hairdryer into the bathtub.
Beep boop beep beep boop boop beep boop boop beep 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 boop boop beep boop 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 beep beep boop boop beep boop boop beep boop boop beep beep boop boop beep boop boop. Simon Says kiss your cousin. It's your line.
He did every single one. I'm so appreciative because I did not copy paste one section that I wrote down that I actually typed all those out. Come on down, listeners will get 15% off one Simon Says Deluxe toy when they use the code Come On Down Says at checkout.
Simon Says Deluxe. If you don't complete the dare, you're a coward. From Hasbro.
Wow. 15% off is pretty good.
Hey, not bad. The game sounds annoying as fuck, though.
Well, that was a very hard...
A lot of beeps and boops.
Yeah.
Bippity boppity beep boop. Anyway, as we mentioned today, we are going to be talking about the game show formerly known as Concentration.
Formerly, so it changed names?
It did change names, yeah.
To what? Jeopardy?
Hey, wow, what a twist. Kind of, in some ways, as you'll see
Right.
as we go through this story.
Take
So-
me through it. I'm ready.
Here-
I'm going to close my eyes. I am vacation modding.
You didn't have to tell me because you have sunglasses on. I would
I'm
have no
just
idea.
going to take a quick snooze-a-lose. No, I will be alert and attentive because I need to concentrate.
Okay, good. So, August 1958. Concentration debuted on NBC.
Nice. National Peacock Company.
And it was actually the longest running game show ever on NBC.
At that time.
Ever.
Still?
Yes. 1958 to 73. almost 15 years consecutively. It ran on NBC. It was originally hosted by Hugh Downs. What you know about Hugh Downs?
Some kids suffer from it.
Wow.
And
All right. Let's just go ahead and move on real quick before we get too far into that. So
huge Downs.
Hugh Downs. He's done a lot in his life. Mm-hmm. He was first probably famously known. He was kind of the sidekick on the Tonight Show with Jack Parr in the 50s, and then he, in addition to being the host of Concentration, he was on the Today Show as an anchor on the Today Show. He eventually left Concentration in 1969 to devote more time to anchoring the Today Show. Mm-hmm. And after that, from 1979 to 99, he was one of the anchors on 2020.
Huge Downs?
Yes, which led to him getting the Guinness World Record for most hours on network TV.
Oh, this old fucker. I know this
Most
guy.
hours on network TV before being passed in 2004 by Regis Philbin.
He has butt cheekbones.
Butt cheeks, cheekbones.
Yeah.
All right.
They kind of look like apple when you hear the song Apple Bottom Jeans.
Apple bottom face.
He's got
apple bottom face.
Yeah.
Yeah, he died last year.
Of Downs.
Nope. It's not a thing you die from, I don't think.
Well, if you die and you have Down syndrome, then you have died of Downs.
No, that's not true. You can die with prostate cancer. A lot of people do. Most people.
Right.
But not of. Like, they find it in autopsies. Oh, this guy had prostate cancer.
Why don't you just do the finger stick? The thing that you're so afraid of doing, even though you pee 14 times an hour.
No, 14 times.
By the way, I was able to hit 15 pees in a day.
You did.
You know what I had to drink?
What'd you do?
2 sodas,
Okay.
2 sparkling waters,
Okay.
and a bottle of water.
That's all you drank for the day, though? That seems like a...
That's so much liquid.
Oh, no, that's like an average sort of low amount of liquid for me. I drink a lot. Maybe that's the problem, I guess.
That's for sure the problem.
Maybe the problem
How
is I
many
just
sodas do you drink
lot.
a day?
I usually have like 2 or 3 sodas a day. And then I always have 12 ounces of water when I wake up and 12 ounces of water before I go to sleep. And water throughout the day. And like if I exercise, I might have a 20-ounce G2 Gatorade, low-calorie Gatorade.
Man, I just feel like that's too much liquid.
Really?
I don't know. I think what you should do...
I like having clear pee.
I think you should replace all of that with water and see if you still pee the same amount.
I don't know. Maybe. But caffeine is a diuretic also, I believe.
Correct.
So that'll make you pee if you drink a Coke. So maybe it's not a prostate thing. Maybe I just drink a lot of
I
liquid.
still think you should get something in your butt and get your prostate checked.
Well, I've had some.
Whether it's your wife
yeah.
or some sort of a medical butt plug. I don't know if those exist.
Yeah. It's a prescription.
Prescription butt plug.
Yeah. So Hugh Downs, he was also in the 90s pro marijuana legalization.
Oh,
this
wow.
Was
what
an
a
old
trailblazer.
Dude. I mean, he was like 70.
I was pro-weed when I came out my mom, dude.
Allegedly on his last episode of 2020, he was asked if there's any opinions of his that he'd like to share, and he said marijuana should be legal. So big ups to Hugh Downs.
And then did this camera freeze and sunglasses came down from the top of the frame and went on his head? Deal with it.
Yeah. And he died last July.
Of marijuana.
Yep, a marijuana overdose. Mm-hmm. It was terrible. One of the worst that they've ever seen. And only. And a couple weeks later, Regis died. Because again, Regis can't just let this guy have anything.
Right.
Oh, I want your world record. Oh, I want your dying month. I'm a bigger deal than you.
Yeah.
God, fuck Regis. Glad he's dead. I'm not. I'm sorry. I'm still just dealing with a lot right now.
Yeah.
So the way that this game show worked was it was kind of a combination of 2 existing things, basically.
You know how some people call, let's say, an actor or an actress a triple threat
Yeah.
because they can sing, dance, and
Act.
tweet.
Yeah.
Yes, act. This was a double threat.
2 games in 1.
It's coming to your brain from 2 different sides.
That's true.
Through your eyes as one point, which you have 2 eyes of. Also, the reason it's called a double threat.
Double threat. Yep. So this game, it was like the children's game Concentration, which is its namesake, where you have like generally
rows and columns.
You would lay out playing cards in pairs or something like that in rows and columns, and you would overturn them 2 at a time, trying to match and remember, oh, I saw that one, it's over here, etc., etc. So it's that game, but up on a big game board where it was 5x6, so there were 30 squares up on the board, and underneath them were prizes, basically, and you had to match 2 prizes in order to add that prize to your bank. So it might say trip to New York, and you had to find the other trip to New York. It might say dining set, and you had to find the other dining set. In this original version, there were also some kind of wacky ones up there. There was forfeit a prize, meaning you have to give up one of your prizes if you match the 2 forfeits.
That's tricky.
There was take a prize, meaning if you match 2 of those, you can take a prize from the other person out of their prize bank.
Rude.
There were wilds in there, which would anything that you chose after or before the wild in that pair, you would get that thing automatically.
Nice.
And then there were some like gags on there.
Some gags and gigs?
Some gags. Yeah, gags and gigs, as people famously say. So there was like tattered sock or soapy sponge and stuff like that in this original version.
So there wasn't ever like pictures of famous women's feet.
That was not a phenomenon quite yet. But that was
How would you know that? Just because there wasn't a website dedicated to it?
I just can't imagine. Yeah.
Every kink has been a kink since the beginning of time.
But there was no way for those people to connect before the internet. Like,
right. They had to go to like a face-to-face meeting at the local library.
Like there was nobody that was like willing to just like publicly be like, you know what's nice? Jane Mansfield's toes. Have you seen those? I'd like to lick them. Just at their local Elks Club meeting.
They were asked, do you have any upcoming projects on the red carpet? And that's their response to that.
Just toe licking.
Have you ever seen Jane Mansfield's toes?
So there was something like that. So maybe if you had one of the soapy sponges, then you want to match the forfeit a prize at this point, because you don't give a shit about the soapy sponges, because in addition to this game of concentration, there was also what I've now learned was called a rebus, which is
a famous country singer, red-haired diva.
Oh yeah,
who sings. My wife is very fond of her music and loves all of her songs, pretty much from album listing to album listing.
What's your favorite song by Reba McEntire?
Fancy.
That's a song by Jessie J or somebody else.
Incorrect. It is a song by Reba McEntire, and it's about fancy. You already know I'm in the fast lane.
Who is that?
From LA
that
to
Reba?
Tokyo. No, that is Iggy Azalea.
Oh, Iggy Azalea. That's right.
And who is not like Reba at all in any way.
Both the female singers.
In the most surface level way.
Your wife loves them both.
No. I don't think she's an Iggy Azalea fan.
Okay.
I like Iggy Azalea more than she does.
Oh. You like Iggy Azalea more than you like your wife?
Yeah, you heard me correctly.
Okay.
I mean, if my wife had a song lyric like, I'm in the fast lane from LA to Tokyo.
That would be a big lane.
And would it exist?
It could.
Right.
I don't see why it couldn't.
Yeah. I mean, it would have to go either under the ocean.
Why haven't we built like a highway from New York to London or something yet?
It would be impossible to maintain. A one medium-sized storm would just crash it in the middle, wherever that storm occurred. There's no way we could build a structure strong enough to withstand those terrible, terrible storms in the middle of the ocean.
Not with that attitude.
You're right.
What if you had to? What if you were the guy like?
That's never been the response to that, by the way. When somebody says no with that attitude, nobody's ever said. Good point.
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
I should turn around my perspective on this. If you're the guy just laying down rebar in the Marianas Trench, trying to
Seems deep.
yeah, what is it like 20,000
Leagues
feet
under the sea.
deep or something? Do you know a league is actually a horizontal measurement, not vertical. It's not depth.
You can
It's
still be a
distance
league.
traveled.
You just turn it on its side.
okay. But how deep do you think the Marianas Trench is?
I mean, I've heard
Like-
it goes to the center of the ocean.
Deeper
Center
than
of the earth.
I think it's deeper than like Mount Everest is tall.
I mean, that makes sense. There's so much more.
We don't know what's down there.
Yeah.
You know who's been the deepest in the ocean out of anybody?
Jacques Cousteau.
James Cameron.
Right. Who I meant.
So the Rebus, just to be clear, because we brought that up and then just talked about Iggy Azalea and
Hey, this is how improv and the people are getting a look into the brain. People have had conversations like this where you go off on a tangent. It's nice
true.
that we get back
and then
to
you go,
it.
why was I talking about this again? So the Rebus is a puzzle.
36,000 feet is the depth,
36,000 feet.
estimated depth of the
That's
Mariana
how.
Trench.
That's what a plane flies at. Like when you're. This is your craft.
30,000 feet.
We're now flying at 35,000 feet cruising altitude. That's far.
Does the pilot
That's
have to
high.
wear a
That's
mask in the
low.
cockpit?
Well, there's a co-pilot.
Yeah, but I bet they don't wear their fucking mask.
Pieces of shit.
I know.
So
Rebus.
is a puzzle that is where, and everybody's seen these before, it's where you have little pictures or symbols that you add them together to make words and or phrases.
Mm-hmm. It's something that there's a beer that does this.
A beer?
Yeah, there's a beer
Like
that
on the
I
bottle?
forget what it is. It's the bottle cap. It's similar to like a Snapple cap, not quite as big, but it's a similar situation. And what beer is this? And they have a rebus on it, and you're supposed to. Some of them are very difficult, and some of them
On
are
that little tiny little bottle cap on the inside?
Yeah, it's just
Wow.
usually 2 or 3 symbols right
Right.
on there. Yeah, you would like it
Interesting.
if you drink beer.
I should start drinking beer specifically to try and solve the rebus puzzles that are underneath the lids.
Lucky Lager.
Lucky Lager. It's got some rebus puzzles. So the thing about this is when you... Oh, look at those rebus puzzles. That's cool. So when you get a match...
Hey, can you throw it up on our green screen?
I will.
Thank you.
Not only are you getting prizes, you are also now revealing what is underneath those 2 squares, which is portions of the larger rebus puzzle that is behind there. And so every time you get a match, you now get an opportunity to solve
Right.
the puzzle.
It's just a piece of the puzzle.
Right.
Some would say it's a rebus piece.
Rebus pieces.
Pieces of a rebus?
Rebus pieces are my favorite in E.T.
Yeah.
So obviously at the beginning when you get the first 2, you're probably not going to really have any idea what you're looking at. So
Unless you're a cheater, which we have seen happen in multiple game shows.
that's true. And we'll talk
Which would
about
be a
that in
terrible one to
minute.
cheat at because you so quickly be called out.
Yeah. So you're trying to solve the rebus puzzle underneath, which is the larger game, and then whoever is the first person to do that, they win all of the prizes that are in their prize bank. The other person, they don't get shit. They get booted.
Keep in
They
mind,
get
you could have 0 prizes in your prize bank and win the game.
Yeah, but I think you win like $100. I think in the beginning it was like $100. Later it was like $500. Something along those lines. And then in this original version, you could come back 20 times. If you were fucking unbelievable at this game,
Yeah.
you could keep coming back 20 times. Go on a real nice win streak. Then, so 1969, I mentioned Hugh Downs leaves to go focus more on the Today Show. He is replaced then by, and this is where we're getting back into that cheating, Bob Clayton. So Bob Clayton, oh no, this is not the cheating. Hold on. Let's hold off for a second.
I
here.
will.
Bob Clayton, he was previously the announcer for this show
Okay.
before being slotted into the host role. And after a few months, the advertisers on the show said, we want a bigger star than this Bob Clayton guy.
Ouch.
You know what worked really well? Hugh Downs was Jack Parr's sidekick on The Tonight Show. Show went great. Why don't we get Ed McMahon, who's Johnny Carson's partner on The Tonight Show, to come in? So for 6 months, Ed McMahon hosted the show. The ratings tanked. There was a lot of fan backlash, and they said, "Just kidding, Bob. Yeah, you're the host. You've always been the host, Bob Clayton." So Bob Clayton came back and hosted after that 6 months. Ed McMahon.
God, I hope he negotiated so hard for like double the salary.
Yeah, he was making $20,000 a year after that, because this was 1960s money. You got to remember.
That's pretty good.
That's great. So, and I also made up that salary completely. So there was also, this was, okay, now we'll get into cheating a little bit.
Okay.
This was a show developed by Dan Enright and Jack Barry.
When a man and a woman used to love each other, but don't love each other anymore.
Cheating.
One of them might cheat.
Oh, okay, got it. So Barry and Enright developed this show, though the famous developers of 21, where they had the big cheating scandal there.
Whoa.
Jack Barry also hosted an evening version of this show for a year, a nighttime version.
So it was like a sexy rebus underneath?
Yeah, obviously.
Whoa.
Yeah. And that only lasted for like the first year. It was off for 2 years, and then Hugh Downs did it for another year later, but I guess it wasn't really a nighttime show. It was more of a daytime, everyday show.
Mm-hmm. For kids.
For the whole family, really. For the housewife and the kids home from school.
Right.
So the show was eventually canceled in 1973, as I said, as the longest running NBC game show of all time, and that still stands almost 50 years later to this day. In fact, that run is the 5th longest consecutive run of any game show in American history. Right now, we've got The Price is Right, Jeopardy, Wheel of Fortune, and the current run of Family Feud are the only 4 longer, and those are all active currently.
Right.
So, like, The Price is Right has been going since the 70s. Jeopardy and Wheel have been going since the 80s, and this run of Family Feud has been going since 99. But 58 to 73 concentration on NBC is the 5th longest after those 4, and those are the big 4. Those are the big 4 you think of. You know, the heavy hitters in the game show world.
It just goes to show you that nobody gives a fuck about number 5.
If you're number 5 in anything, give up.
I don't think
it doesn't matter.
Anyway, your top 5 in your class drop out and fucking go do drugs because nobody wants you.
Yeah. So it went off air in 73. It came back in a syndicated run later in 73 through 78. And this was hosted by a guy named Jack Nars, which is pretty Nars name.
Narsley.
So Jack Nars, again, going back.
Who's your favorite performer?
My favorite performer of
singer
of what?
Just a pair.
Iggy Azalea.
Is it Nars Barkley?
Okay. Yes.
You know my favorite candy company?
Nars.
Yep.
Yeah, that's not M&M's Nars. I guess you could.
Nars Bar.
Nars Bar.
Yeah.
All right. What else can we do? What else you got?
Who's your favorite basketball player?
Who?
Nars Barkley.
Yeah, that's the same thing, bro.
What's a different person completely?
What's your favorite Pixar movie? Nars.
Oh man, what else?
All right, we've got 31 minutes left.
Okay, this is fun. Okay, I'm gonna need 20 to think, and then can you guys just hang with us for 20 minutes?
Yeah, hold on. We're gonna write this down.
Yeah.
So, Concentration came back hosted by Jack Nars from 73 to 78 in syndication. It had a couple little changes to the format, but like the way they did some of the they would put some extra like prizes up on the board that you could win, like money things that would multiply if the person who got that didn't win the game that week, it would add $100 to it each day or something until somebody won it.
Okay.
Things like that. But Jack Nars, in the 50s, he was the host of Dotto, which I don't know, it feels like a game we've got to do at some point because it's called Dotto.
Dotto.
And
It's somebody mispronouncing Ditto.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, we should. Here's my idea. I think we should make a game show. And somebody else goes, Dotto.
And they're like, that's
They're
a
like, yeah,
great name.
okay,
That's what I
Let's
was
do
doing.
it.
I was doing the name of the show.
I was coming up.
Totally.
Obviously. So he was the host of Dotto. It was one of the shows embroiled in the same quiz show scandal that took down 21. So it was also kind of immediately canceled. But he was basically, at the same time, also immediately absolved of any wrongdoing. Like, Jack Nars did not know that there was rigging going on Dotto. Whereas Jack Barry and Dan Enright were quite involved in the cheating on 21. So Jack Barry went through some shame and was away from TV for a while, whereas Nars came out tasting like a Nars bar on the other side of this thing. And ended up eventually hosting the syndicated version of the show that went off air in 78 until NBC, the National Peacock community, came back in 1987 with a new updated version of this game with a few changes, including a new name.
What is it?
Classic Concentration. And what they did, they called it Classic Concentration, and then they changed the rules and shit. So not really classic. That's like Coke came out with New Coke, and then they went back to Coca-Cola Classic.
Right.
Which was the before version. This came out with Classic Concentration. That was a little different than the before version. I don't know that the name really makes sense. I think this was a couple years before Coca-Cola Classic, maybe, so they didn't understand how you use that term in marketing and branding and et cetera, et cetera. So it came back in 1987 on NBC, and this time it was hosted by a guy you're familiar with.
Yeah, right.
Alex Trebek.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Everybody died last year. Not even just because of the COVID.
Right. Just because of natural causes.
Yeah, well, his was an aggressive form of pancreatic cancer.
And cancer's not natural?
Is it?
I feel like it is because it's in our
vaccines.
Nature.
It's in our 5Gs.
Candies. Children's candy.
Yep. It's in baby formula.
Right. Elon Musk.
It's in
Has it.
Baby powder. There was a thing with Johnson & Johnson. They had asbestos in their talc.
That's terrible.
Well, yeah, they lost a lot of money in a lawsuit because of it.
Wow.
So Alex Trebek hosted the show in 1987. He was already the host of Jeopardy at that point in time as well. This was like the 6th or 7th different game show that he had hosted. He was a fella from the north, from Canada, who had been like kind of a radio and TV host and transitioned into game shows where he did a bunch of these. He did like an updated version of To Tell the Truth at some point. I think we've talked about that before, but he was the host of this Classic Concentration. Alex Trebek was, and his tell your mother I said hello, Trebek, or whatever.
That sounds very nice.
Yeah, I'm a nice guy.
Yeah.
No, that was obviously famously, I think Alex Trebek probably most famous for being impersonated by Will Ferrell on Saturday Night Live. That's the thing most people know Alex Trebek from.
Do you think it's truly what most people know, or just like us and our friends in our group?
Yeah, no, I think most people probably know him from Jeopardy, from regular old Jeopardy. But and the funny thing about that is that sketch series on SNL, the Celebrity Jeopardies, I think most people associate it with the Sean Connery insulting Trebek and his mother.
Okay.
Constantly, played by Daryl Hammond, the Sean Connery character. Celebrity Jeopardy was actually developed by Norm Macdonald so he could do a Burt Reynolds impersonation.
Nice.
And so I think the very first one had Daryl Hammond as Sean Connery in it. But the first like 4 or 5, all had Burt Reynolds, and only that one had Sean Connery. And then after Norm got fired from SNL and they wanted to keep doing the Celebrity Jeopardy sketches, then Daryl Hammond's Sean Connery came back as a permanent guest. It was always previously Turd Ferguson, aka Burt Reynolds. And I think there's a story like Norm was talking to Burt Reynolds to get him to come on the show and punch out the fake Burt Reynolds character and then take his spot on the podium and play the game, but give even dumber answers than the fake one was. But I think he got fired before they did that.
Great idea.
Yeah, because he is the funniest stand-up comic in the world.
We get
right
it.
now.
You want to bang an old man because he challenges the form and goes against the norm.
But he is the norm. So Alex Trebek hosts this show. Some of the changes, instead of originally it was 30 squares, I said it was 5x6. They reduced it down to a 5x5, 25 square thing. They kind of got rid of all of the goofy nonsense squares aside from the wilds.
Okay.
And it now, at some point, they added back in take prizes, but they never had, I don't believe, had gag prizes again, and I don't think they had forfeit a prize on there anymore after that. But and they changed the way the wild card works on this one a little bit, because in the earlier version that they didn't figure this out, how weird this was after 14 years. When you got a wild and then you landed on bath towels or something like that, they would reveal the wild and the bath towels. But now remember, there's still another bath towels out there on the board that if you call that number up, you get bath towels and you're like, well, I know that's already gone, so I can't possibly match with this. So that sucks.
Yeah.
So in this original version, you could also pass, and sometimes people would do that so that they knew they couldn't possibly match, and they didn't want to reveal another one for their opponent to see, so they would get bath towels and just say pass, because that would just, there's no match for it. It's just sitting up there on the board the whole time.
Yeah.
So in the updated version, the Alex Trebek version, if you landed on a wild card and landed on bath towels, it turns over 3 squares, the wild and both bath towels. So that made a little bit more sense.
Sure.
It was a little more to your advantage. And if you matched 2 wilds, I think you got a $500 bonus, and you could still go for another.
That counted as a match. A true match.
Yeah, for $500. So, in addition, this version added the winner's circle bonus game. The original version kind of just ended. You won, and that was it. You got those prizes onto your next opponent for 20 times if you're a badass crushing the game. This one added a bonus game after the end in which you could win a brand new car.
Okay.
You like that? You like that for prize money right there? Car. In addition to all the other stuff you've won during the game, which could be trips, furniture,
towels,
TVs, towels, etc., things like that. And they would also, in this version, always reveal the spot of one featured prize before you started. So they would say like, under number 17, we've got a color television. And then if you find the color television, you have to remember, they already showed us that was number 17. Or if you get a wild and you really want that color TV, you can say that. So in addition to all those prizes, you can win a car in the winner's circle there were 8 cars on display. And you had 35 seconds with a board of 15, a 3x5 board. So obviously that's an odd number. So there's a non-matching thing in there, which
that's so sneaky.
In the main game where we're at 25 being an odd number, you're able to just have an extra wild in there. So, obviously you don't have to worry about having an even number. Whereas in this, there are the 8 cars, and so 7 of the cars are in there twice, and one of them is just in there once to throw you off and screw you up. Because there's obviously no match for that one.
Dang.
So you've got 35 seconds to try and match all of the 7 cars that are up there. And if you do, whichever the last one that you match is, you win that car. And each time somebody doesn't win, they added 5 seconds to the time. So you don't win. Next show, you win again, or your opponent wins. You got 40 seconds in the winner's circle. And there were some times where one of the prizes on the main game board that they would put up there would be like extra 5 seconds in the winner's circle. So if you got that and you won the game, you have another bonus 5 seconds added in there. And it was very hard, in my opinion, because you're rapid fire going like 1 and 3, 2 and 6, 4 and 8, and they're flashing up there, and they just say things like Accord, Cherokee, Focus, whatever, and you're like, oh fuck, I saw Focus, but I've just been rapid fire going through all these at some point. It's one of the ones I've said before. I don't remember which one. So people really had a tough time with winning the cars. But on this one, instead of winning 20 times in a row, you can only win 5 times in a row. But you could also win a car. So
which is pretty sweet.
That's fine. I would probably be fine with that.
I would take the Vega.
There was no Vega on this one, I don't think. So you don't want to win a car then?
I don't want to participate. No, thank you.
Okay. What about a Geo Metro?
I'll take it.
Your first car.
I'll take it.
Does that take you back to...
Yeah, it takes me back to when I lied to my parents about how I crashed it.
What?
I would do a very funny, very safe thing in high school called the Dick Lane Change, where I would
I remember that, yeah.
change lanes very
aggressively.
Aggressively.
But on like the open road without somebody.
Yeah, I would never do it next to a car. And I would slide my car would actually slide into the lane because I had good control, albeit
like
it was dangerous.
Drift.
Correct. And I did it with people in my car. Didn't account for the extra weight.
You do a lot of calculations.
I clearly do math before I do it. I'm not stupid. And then I think I avoided 2 different cars, one on my left and one on my right. I was able to evade both of those.
But we just talked about how there weren't cars around when you did this.
Right. This, for some reason, I did it at this time and slammed into the curb and broke my axle.
Ooh. And
then I told my parents that a wild squirrel ran out in front of my car in the middle of the street.
This is like when you told me a wild squirrel ran out in front of the car, so you shit your pants. Was that a lie also?
No, that absolutely happened. That absolutely happened. And then,
and you were trying to avoid the squirrel, and that was how you crashed into the curb?
Correct. But it wasn't. It was just me trying to be cool for my friends, not thinking, oh, you have an extra 200 pounds in your car.
Did your friends think it was cool?
No, they were quite like, that was fucking crazy. And then they left me there.
How? There were no Ubers.
No, they called a friend to come get them.
Oh, okay.
I just had to stay there and wait.
You were just sitting on the side of the road because your car wouldn't
go.
So you hit the curb.
Smash into it.
Right. And I assume you're just trying to like straighten out and keep going.
I was overcorrecting. Right? Yeah. I was overcorrecting.
And so the car like kind of came to a stop on its own after that. That's a bummer.
I mean, it was a sad day. It was a great car.
And that was the end of it? That was a total? It was a total job?
Yeah.
How much is an axle?
I think here's the thing. It's not how much it is. It's how much is it compared to the value of the car. And the value of the car was, I'm pretty sure, much lower than an axle.
Have you ever told your parents the truth about that?
I did right now.
I hope they're listening. Probably not.
Give me a call. You know what? Take away my inheritance. I don't give a shit.
Wow. How much?
I'm my own man. What's that?
How much is it?
Oh, it was the Geo.
Oh, that was the inheritance. Shit. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never lied about a car accident. One time I was driving.
You didn't lie about getting the spring I guess because we got it out.
We got it out, so I never had to tell them about it. No, there was one time when I had a Hyundai Tiburon that I was driving down Interstate 35.
Scary road.
And there was a thunderstorm ongoing. and the road was quite wet, and my tires were probably not that great, and my car was pretty light because it was a Hyundai Tiburon, and I started hydroplaning while I was in the left lane, and I was drifting to the right, and there were a lot of cars on the road, and so this was scary, and I, overcorrected, turning my wheel to the left so that I wouldn't hit the people beside me on my right, and then the wheels regripped the surface with the front wheels turned significantly to the left at 50 or 60 miles an hour, and there was one of those barricade, the lane divider things, and I just smashed right into it and bounced off and was kept going straight in the left lane. And I thought, oh fuck, I just crashed into a wall on the highway. And so I pulled over across all the lanes and exited and got out of my car to assess the damage. And the weirdest thing was there was no damage.
How's that possible?
Right. That was also what I was wondering. But it was also still pouring out, and I was outside, so I was just trying to get as quick a look as possible and figure out get back on the road. I was on my way I was in college at the time, so I was driving from Dallas up to Oklahoma. And so I get back on the road and I'm driving, and I realize, I think my alignment got a little messed up because I have to have my steering wheel turn 90 degrees to the left to go straight now. I probably need to get my my tires aligned and balanced.
Sure.
And so I realized what had happened was the wheel was turned so much from my overcorrecting during the fishtail that the wheels were outside of the frame of the body. So when I hit the wall, just my left front tire nailed the wall, and because it was rubber and whatnot, bounced back off of it onto the highway, and the body of my car somehow did not hit the wall. And it turns out I was wrong about the alignment thing, and it was that my axle was bent. But that didn't stop me from driving it up to Oklahoma and then back before taking it to an auto shop and telling my dad, oh yeah, I hit a curb and I think my alignment is messed up. Because I didn't want to tell him that I almost died.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's why you got to concentrate when you're
on the road.
On the road.
Yeah.
And also don't overcorrect when, even though it
impossible to do,
feels like the right thing to do in the heat of the moment, when you think, if I don't get further left, I'm going to die. So you want to get further left. Yeah, it's very difficult to not turn away from a hydroplane.
Yes.
But anyway, that's what you could do with your Cherokee or your Corolla or whatever.
Vega.
Yes, let's throw Vega in there, that you could win in the winner's circle on classic concentration.
A classic version of concentration.
Sometimes at the end of the show, so they would try and squeeze two of them in there. They have the returning winner and then get a new person in there. Sometimes they would run out of time, like the show.
Oh no,
we're getting towards the end here. We still need to get this bonus game in here. What are we gonna do? Nobody's solving this puzzle. And so they would just end it early. So you're halfway through. Nobody solved the rebus that's underneath. And Alex would come out and say, all right, we're going to end it early here. We're going to remove the rest of the squares one by one. You guys get your hand on your buzzers. You've got to, when you think you can solve it, buzz in and give your answer. If you buzz in and miss, then they reveal the entire rest of the thing for your opponent to try and solve it. Also, if both people miss it, or if it gets to the end and nobody knows, then he just starts giving hints about what it is so that somebody can fucking guess this question already and get the show moved on. The good news is, if you are playing in that game and end up losing one of these games that ends early, you still come back for a rematch next game.
Weird.
They don't kick you off for because I guess it considerably changed. It removes the concentration aspect of the game completely.
Yeah.
And it's just rebus puzzle solving at that point. So I guess because the game is called Concentration, or Classic Concentration at this point, they decided we don't want to punish you by kicking you off the show if we change the rules of the game midway through.
Sure.
So you get to come back for the next show to try again if you lose that bit. So that was nice. On the other end of the spectrum, if the show ends a little early, if people are really good at solving these rebuses, then they would sometimes do an audience game where somebody from the audience, they would put like a 4x4 thing with like $25, $50, $75, and $100 up there, and you had a minute to match them, and you would get however much each of the money matches that you were able to get.
Okay.
So there's some little fun variations that they would throw in there. They had a couple Tournament of Champions things, which also was a Jeopardy thing with Trebek.
Mm-hmm.
They would bring people back that were really good at concentrating and rebus solving, which is like, I guess, two very different skill sets in some ways. Like memorization and is a very like linear thing. Like I don't know there's like left brain and right brain.
Sure.
I feel like they're opposite ones. Like concentration is just like maintaining facts in your head, basically.
Like left side, left brain.
Right. And then rebus puzzle solving is a bit more creative. You have to take some liberties with what you're looking at and know that this bundle of wheat, like one of the episodes I watched, it was a picture of a can of cherries, a bundle of wheat, a doctor putting a popsicle stick thing into a person's mouth and with a speech bubble of them saying ah.
Okay.
And then the letter K. And the answer was, can we talk? Can wheat ah.
Got it.
And boy, did the woman on that show have a real struggle trying to solve what that was. She at one point said cherry wheatask. I don't know where she was getting the S from, first of all. But she was really focused on the cherry aspect of the can of cherries. And I think she also didn't know what the wheat was. She kept saying like bundle.
Okay.
She was, I don't know what that thing is. I don't know what that is.
And her partner's like, good.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Well, it was funny because like with like half of the concentration puzzle solved, her opponent like gave a reaction at one point like, oh. And Alex was like, oh, it looks like he knows, but it's still your control until you miss one. And she kept getting a match every single time. And she kept missing the rebus guess every single time. And the dude was just sitting over there like, until she solved the entire concentration puzzle, missed the rebus again, and then he got to guess. And
won.
He won, yeah.
Great.
But she'd already won 4 shows and like $26,000 or something like that. So
pretty sweet.
Not bad. Not a bad consolation for not figuring out what wheat is.
For having 7 tries to figure out one puzzle.
Yeah. So that is concentration. NBC owns the rights to this show, and they've talked about bringing it back a few different times in recent years, and they've killed it every time. So it has not been on air since 90. Well, it aired in reruns for another couple of years after they canceled the Trebek version during daytime, but there were no new episodes since 91. It's on the Buzzer TV network. You can only find it on YouTube as far as I can tell. I went on to Amazon because a lot of Buzzer shows are on Amazon. They've got a deal with them. And I searched concentration, and then it tried to autofill concentration camp movies, concentration camp love, concentration camp stories.
Sure.
And when you just type concentration and press enter, you just get a bunch of concentration camp related media.
And that is where contestants went to train for the show?
Exactly. It was like space camp.
Okay.
But it was also in Alabama.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, but that's the show. How would you make this show better? You've been typing a lot of stuff over there. I feel like you have some ideas.
I do. What's your favorite movie?
Oh, you were just writing down more NARS ideas?
What's your favorite?
NARS Attacks.
Correct.
Is my favorite movie.
Another one?
Oh. NARS Needs Noms.
Narsley and Me.
Okay.
What's your favorite race car?
There's no...
What's your favorite car race?
NARS?
Nars car?
NARS car.
What's the fourth planet?
NARS.
Who's your favorite actress?
I don't know.
Narslissa Flockhart. What's a personality quiz that you have?
Callista? You think NARS Lissa is good for Callista?
What's a personality quirk you have?
What?
Narcissism.
Okay, that works.
What's a disorder that people may have?
What?
Narcolepsy.
Okay.
What's a good fake animal?
So you've just been writing all of these things down while I've been talking about this show.
What's a good fake animal?
What's a good fake animal?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Narzwal.
No, it's a real animal.
Sure it is. What's a good candy that people like to eat?
It's a whale with a big horn, like a unicorn.
Oh, sure, like a unicorn.
That's real.
Mm-hmm, sure. What's a good candy that people like?
We already said NARS bars.
Nards.
That's like that's such a stretch.
What are things that you get when you're feeling when you need pain relief?
What?
Narcotics.
Are you done?
Yeah. I would make it better.
You did take the entire rest
I
of the
would
show to
make
think
it
about
better by making the rebus a crudely drawn picture by a toddler.
Okay, you want it to be even harder for this woman who couldn't figure out what wheat is. You want wheat drawn by a toddler.
I'm sorry,
now.
one person had a hard time with the rebus.
Okay.
I think I would make this better if Alex Trebek was alive.
That would make a lot of things better, though.
I was sad this entire time
watching him and being sad. And he had a mustache during this time.
Young.
This was during mustache period of Trebek.
And I would call it classic memorization because I don't know where the fuck concentration falls into this game.
Well, I think that was just kind of always the name of that little matching
Okay,
game.
so if something's wrong the first time, we just keep doing it, even though because that's what happened
religion.
the first time. What's wrong about religion?
Politics.
What's wrong about politics?
Politics
Politics works
right?
perfectly
What's right
fine.
about politics?
Politics works perfectly fine
for the people in power and the large corporations.
Hey, what's something that you want to do?
What?
Nosolotics.
Okay. Kill myself is something I want to do right now.
You want to NARS yourself?
I don't even understand how that could possibly fit in there. Yeah, like I said, it was interesting that this was a combination of two things, but also if it was either one of those things on its own, it wouldn't be good. You know what I mean? Like it would be boring. If it was just people trying to match stuff and then that's it.
That would be better than if it was just a rebus.
That's true. But
I agree, they would be bad by themselves.
Yeah, because a rebus is like you just have two people just staring at a thing and they just alternate guesses, I guess.
That's exactly what that would be.
That would be pretty boring. So yeah, the concentration on its own would be better than that.
Right, because that's at least there's
there's like the prizes that you're getting with the concentration aspect
Mm-hmm.
of it, and you can use strategy if you know what's where to not reveal it to your opponent and stuff like that. But yeah, I think combined it makes it more compelling that there's a little extra element to you're unveiling stuff little by little that you've got to solve underneath.
Anything that has small tidbits of reveal that happen in increments of time, that's enjoyable.
It's always fun because a lot of times you see that on like little online things where it's revealing stuff and then you've got to guess what it is or whatever.
What is this from?
I don't know. I've seen that though.
Is it like an ad, like an advertisement?
I don't think that an ad. I think there's like little games that you play where it like keeps or like there's that it's almost like that slide puzzle. Remember those slide puzzles?
Yes.
Where it's like an elephant and there's one blank spot.
Right.
And so you've got to slide them all around using the blank spots to
very difficult
shape the elephant. Very tricky.
It's like playing chess with yourself. What move is going to impact which tile down the road? You have to make sure you see every impact on every tile.
My grandpa had one of those chess boards where you could play against yourself when I was young.
How does that even work?
So it had some sort of computer inside of it. Although That's the most advanced computer that my grandfather ever had in his life by far.
Yeah.
And this was like 1989. And so it's a chessboard, and you put all the pieces on there, and whenever you move your piece, you have to like press it down, kind of. There were like sensors on each of the squares. You press it down where you pick it up, and then wherever you set it down, you press it down there.
Okay.
So it knows, oh, this is pawn 4, and you moved it to this spot.
Right.
And then it had little like LEDs on the board, like at the bottom and on the side. And so it would like light up 2 LEDs like this spot. And then you had, then you take the other side's piece, you push it whatever spot it said, and then it would light up the corresponding where it wants you to move that. So you're playing with real chess pieces against a computer by telling it what moves you're doing, and it's telling you what moves it wants to do in response.
Oh, okay, I see. I thought you were playing with yourself, and I was like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, you're playing by telling the computer what move you're doing, and then it tells you what move it wants to do.
And then you just...
Yeah.
Okay.
So that... I don't know why I was talking about that.
We were talking about the slide pieces.
Oh, yeah, you've got to see
like
the future.
Yeah. You've got to see the future.
The computer can always see the future.
Yeah.
And that was again,
as long as we program it to see the future, it can always see the future.
The most advanced computer my grandfather ever owned, because I had assumed that there would be more advanced computers in cell phones and dishwashers and washing machines and air conditioners and all these other things.
Tamagotchis.
Never owned it. Yes, exactly. Can you believe it? My grandfather never once owned a Tamagotchi. What a piece of shit. So this was concentration and classic concentration.
Yes.
Which is a new twist on the classic version of concentration. Because that's how naming works. Marketing, baby.
We're like marketing.
God damn it. This has been an episode of Come On Down, the Game Show podcast. Just listen or watch us. We've got a green screen now, accidentally, because we have a green wall, and we can put stuff on there.
Yeah, I meant to bring that up at the beginning because it's one of the most exciting things. Now we can be like, now we kind of have a reason for you to watch this, aside from seeing our beautiful faces.
We can put little
We're
pictures
gonna put
and stuff
pictures.
up.
We're going to put goofy little messages.
I don't know about that.
We're going to do... Every fourth word that I said, I would love for you to put up a corresponding picture.
Okay. We're going to play The Wizard of Oz on the green screen in the background, and it actually syncs up to the podcast perfectly. It's crazy.
Yeah. As long as you do lots of drugs, it syncs up perfectly.
It's unbelievable. All right. We will see you guys next week, I guess.
I won't. I'll be on vacation.
Oh, yeah. You're going to be on
baby.
vacation. I don't know. Maybe we'll take a week off. We'll see. You'll see. Nars.
See y'all in Mexico.